I'm telling you what you need to hear, not what you want to hear. You want to hear that you can abuse PD, set all kinds of world records, and that it's not that dangerous. The truth is, it's very dangerous. Coach Greg, and in today's video, I wish I was wrong about Hafthor Bjornsson the Mountain, but turns out I was right all along. I care about his health more than I care about watching him set those records. And so, Hafthor, if you're watching this, reconsider. You don't have to do it. You're already a legend. You don't need to accomplish these goals in order to be a hero to the rest of the world. And not only did he want to come back and set the all-time powerlifting record, but he wanted to do it in 1 year. And last I checked, you can't do this natural. This is the all-time record for powerlifting, in which anything goes. You can take whatever you want. And so he decided to enter a powerlifting competition to test out where his strength was. And where his weight was previously in the 330s, or a bit over 150 kilograms, it now has moved up to 398 pounds. That's 180 kilograms. And so one thing you have to realize is when you take performance-enhancing drugs and your muscles get a lot stronger, they increase their strength at a faster rate than that of the tendons. The muscles are attached to your bones by tendons, and those tendons, they do not strengthen as fast as the muscle. And so if you get a lot stronger, a lot bigger very quickly, that predisposes you to getting an injury. And so the lifting begins in the squat, of which in a second attempt, he got an easy, that's right, easy 420 kilograms. That's 925 pounds. That is a phenomenal lift. Very, very impressive. And he made it look easy. But on the bench press with this opening attempt of 230, that's 570 pounds, it went up, but it didn't look all that solid. It wasn't that the lift was hard, it just didn't look as fast as one would hope it would be. His second attempt goes up to 240 kilograms. That's 529 pounds, something I'm very familiar with, as that in fact ties my all-time Masters world record in the bench press. I've lifted this in competition a few times in my life, and trust me, it is a very heavy weight. And lo and behold, he makes this weight look almost as easy as attempt number one. Perhaps he knew this was a heavier lift and he drove the weight up more quickly, but he made it seem a lot easier. And so with that renewed confidence, he decides, I'm going to go for my all-time record in the bench. And considering he jumped by 10 kilograms on his first attempt, he started at 230, went to 240, a smart or intelligent jump would probably be 10 kilograms or less. And so I would have fully expected him to, if he felt good, go for 250 kilograms. But perhaps only 235 or 237.5. But because the weight went up, he was feeling it. He was having a good day. Perhaps he took some extra PEDs that morning and had renewed energy. And so he decides to put on an all-time PR, 252.5 kilograms or 557 pounds. Now remember, he's only recently got back into powerlifting. He was doing boxing training for 2 years. He's already increased his bench press by over 100 pounds in a short period of time. The tendons, as you know, they're not as strong as the muscles, and so when you go for a 1-rep max, an all-time PR, the most weight you've ever lifted, chances are very likely that you could in fact get injured. And so unfortunately in this case, as he lowers the bar to his chest, he feels and hears a pop. This is not good. Other people that were in attendance could hear this noise and he immediately screamed, "Take off the weight." He did not even try to press it up. And I'm sure you've seen injuries like in the past, as in half the people who train with Larry wheels. Well, not half, I'm exaggerating, but we did see a guy tear his pec lowering the weight to his chest. You could literally see the chest roll up under the skin. And so we do not know the extent of his pec injury, but what I do know is even a tiny chest injury, even if it's a minor tear, that still is going to be devastating news for Hafthor. He's not going to be able to set the all-time record if he cannot train for the bench press. Just really think of it. Do you think he's going to set an all-time record for powerlifting if he can't train the bench press? I don't care how strong the mountain is, of which he's amazingly strong. He's not going to increase his squat and deadlift by so much that even with a small bench press, he's able to set the record. And so who knows, had he played it safe and stopped with perhaps 245, maybe even 250 kilograms, he wouldn't have got this tear. But what I can say is that when you go for your 1 rep maxes, setting all-time PRs in the gym, lifting more than you've ever done before, that is the most likely time you're going to get injured. He's at a powerlifting meet, the adrenaline's flowing, he's pumped, he's amped, this is being recorded, and so you put on the most weight that you could possibly ever lift. And Hafthor, he's not in his 20s anymore. And considering he rushed back to get this strong, it was very likely that he could in fact get injured. And so unfortunately, he got injured. But I like to think things in a positive sense. How can we turn this into a positive? Could this possibly be a blessing in disguise? You're thinking, how could this be a blessing? Guy's torn his pec. He wants to set the all-time record. Well, let's say he doesn't tear his pec. Perhaps he ups the doses for a cycle. He continues to train and use more supplements than last time, pushing his body to the limit. He's approaching that world record, needs a little bit more. I just need a little bit more size. After all, I'm only 398 pounds, 180 kilograms. I need to gain another 50 pounds. If I could just push to 450, at least 200 plus kilos, perhaps I can set that record. And so he continues to force feed to eat more calories and take more supplements. And in doing that, let's say something worse happens. And I'm not talking about pulling a muscle, perhaps a quad tear, lower back, chest, shoulder, tricep, and so on. What about if something happens to his heart, his liver, kidneys? And yes, tearing a muscle is devastating. I've had both of my triceps detached from the bone and breaking my elbows in 2 separate bike accidents. I've had hip surgery, torn labrums. I'm a walking nightmare. And because of those injuries, it prevented me from doing bodybuilding competitions. Perhaps that was a warning to say, Greg, you gotta smarten up. You can't keep doing this. You can't keep taking those things. And so because of that, it led to me switching over into competitive cycling, and not cycling steroids, actually cycling on a bike. And because of that cardio, I now have the healthiest blood work I've had since I began tracking it over 15 years ago. And just consider this, a major competitor to Hafthor, Brian Shaw. He recently spent 8 days in the hospital with an infection in his leg. We don't know exactly how he got that infection, but I can tell you that if you're injecting performance-enhancing drugs, it can often lead to an infection. And if you've done it long enough, most likely you will experience one. Remember, I'm telling you what you need to hear, not what you want to hear. You want to hear that you can abuse PDs, set all kinds of world records, and that it's not that dangerous. The truth is, it's very dangerous. And so, of course, never break the law. Only use PDs with the advice and consent from your own doctor. And I'm not being a hypocrite. I've abused PDs for 10 years in the past, and I'm currently on HRT prescribed by my doctor, who was, in fact, an endocrinologist. And so I do hope that the younger people who watch this can learn from their mistakes. For example, I'm coaching the Trend Twins, as you know. I just recently watched their latest video, and they do in fact speak to ego lifting. They're ego lifting in the gym. They're putting on 1 rep maxes, failing attempts, and they're lifting extremely heavy weights. And you know they're the Trend Twins. They're preparing for competitions. They're on a diet. And while you're on a diet, on restricted calories, losing weight, and on PEDs, you're even more likely to get injured. And so I would hate to see younger guys like the Trend Twins pull a pec. As you get older, of course, the dangers do in fact go up. And so please exercise with caution. I'm not trying to say don't go to the gym, don't push hard, don't train harder than last time, don't have goals. But please keep them realistic. Of course, try to do everything natural. But if you're not natural, get your blood work done. Don't ego lift in the gym. Use proper lifting techniques and try not to get hurt. I know it's inevitable, some people are going to get injured, but do your best to avoid this. One thing strength athletes, powerlifters do not emphasize is cardio. If you're one of those, please consider using GO2 Max. The main ingredient, NMN, has been shown in human studies, not the placebo effect, not in mice, to dramatically improve your cardio. You can exercise, have more energy, burn more calories, and ultimately burn more fat, as it's calories in, calories out. We all know that's how you lose weight. And so whether you're a couch potato or a high-performance elite-level athlete, consider adding in GO2 Max. Click the link in the description, use code GREG to get 10% off. And of course, I have all the supplements in the background, the clothing line, cookbooks, training books, coaching plans by me and my team. And if you don't have any money, head over to the website anyway, enter your first and last name and email address. You're going to get a free training and diet program. It's over 50 pages. It's so much valuable information. It's going to help you out tremendously. So whether you have money or not, head over to the website. Ending it here. Subscribe, click that bell button, the bell button to get subscribed. Like the video if you liked it. Please add a comment. It helps the algorithm. Also, watch one of the bloops. Follow me on the gram. It's Greg Doucette, IB Pro. So much going on there. And until next time, I am out.